Hello friends, Namaste. In this video we'll see the blind king, Dhritarashtra's anxiety, fear of the unrighteous, that is Duryodhana, comparisons, confidence versus overconfidence, Duryodhana versus Yudhishthira and Arjuna, false confidence, the divine call of Krishna, the moment of decision, Arjuna's inner conflict, the fear paralysis of action that Arjuna gets, and the very questioning of his own purpose with Arjuna. I talked about the Gita lessons on the Hindi channel Science of Spirituality, and we are going to cover the same thing or slightly different in the English version on the channel Secrets of Enlightenment. Science in Bhagavad Gita has been put over there in 2 parts, but then this is going to be a series of Gita lessons, which will be a summary of some of the extracted verses as to how they apply to social life, our corporate life, professional life, and businesses. Understanding how life is a battlefield and how the confusions arise and how do we seek wisdom and clarification, and then make our plans to go forward to meet the purpose and the success. I thought I'll begin this with chapter first, doubt and despair. The first chapter of Bhagavad Gita is known as Doubt and Despair Yoga. It is an important state of yoga. Why? Is because unless this state is reached, the essential spiritual growth does not begin. The divine incarnation occurs only in the heart of a yogi. It doesn't happen externally or outside. And without Dharma-Glani, dislike of decline of the unrighteousness, the divine cannot manifest in the yogi's heart. And we'll cover this in 2 parts. Chapter 1, I am collecting only 20 verses, 10 in the first part and the remaining in the second part of the chapter first. And then thereafter we'll continue to do chapter 2 up to 18 of the selected verses only. And this is the summary of the Gita lessons and only extracted few, which we should try understand as to what is the dilemma Arjuna is going through and how he is overcoming all that dilemma, and in the presence of his master, Lord Krishna, he is able to overcome this fear, doubt, illusion and delusion to actually move forward. And the same thing has to be done by us in our life. So relating it to our life is the emphasis over here, rather than going into the deeper aspect of the spiritual meaning. Applying it to the practical life is the main intention of this lesson. Okay, I'll also be launching a Gita course for 2 months mostly. That will cover each and every verse of Bhagavad Gita. That will come later, not now. For now, just understanding the importance of Bhagavad Gita in our social, corporate, professional, and business life is more important at the moment. Okay. But the seekers who really want to understand Bhagavad Gita in detail, I'll be launching a course very soon. So the chapter first deals with the understanding of the life, which is a battlefield. The life is this existence, our body, and the existence. Existence is not just body, it's beyond body and within the body. So within the body is mind and its 4 compartments. Mind, intellect, memory, and the ego, and the perception that we have about ourselves and the world. So understanding the whole existence and where the thoughts come from, what kind of bondages we have, and how illusion affects us, what is our relationship with the nature, how do we recognize within the nature, how do we make our own perceptions. And that is where all the dilemmas and delusions and illusions actually assert, and then they weaken us instead of giving us strength. So how all of that happens is what is going to be covered in this lesson. The next one that we'll see is we'll actually see this in 5 sections as such. So the first section is going to be when we struggle in decision making. All of you must be doing it, going through the same thing, right, in your life. Do you find it difficult to balance the ethics and the practicality at your workplace? And we'll explore this in the first chapter, where Arjuna is facing the inner turmoil, and he is surrendering himself to Lord Krishna, and he is looking for a wisdom because he is clouded by the delusion, illusion, dilemma, and confusion in life. And there is a strong fear that is coming in him. Fear is what actually that blinds us. Okay, let's understand who's Sri Krishna and what is Kurukshetra. Sri Krishna is the divine consciousness in us, the Sadguru, the master. And Kurukshetra is the symbol of existence, complete life. Our life begins with a lot of confusions. We need clarity. We are constantly curious, but our traditions and the regular beliefs do not allow us to quench this curiosity. It is not an external war. There is an inner conflict which happens in us where the righteousness and unrighteousness fight. The Duryodhana and Yudhishthira, they fight, supported by their brothers. But for the righteousness to win, surrender is required to the master, the Lord Krishna. So one blind is the Dhritarashtra, the Duryodhana's father, the king of Kurus, where the fear is actually taking away all the dharma and wisdom and the religious actions, that is making people go away from it, right? So how does that work? We'll see. Okay, so there are 5 things that we'll cover. One is this. The second one is about the Dhritarashtra's question that this Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra, what is happening over there? So there is a right and wrong fighting with each other. In the corporate world and social life also, we have this dilemma. Where to prioritize, the ethics or success? Get success anyhow, or abide by ethics and see whatever you get, right? So that dilemma. So Bhagavad Gita begins with all this confusion in the chapter 1, and then how Lord Krishna actually uh, takes Arjun through all his queries and questions, and then he answers them, is a very beautiful thing to observe. But we haven't made an attempt to actually see the practicality and how to apply in life. Is what my attempt here is to make sure, from my 32 years of corporate experience, I wanted to, wherever I have applied and wherever I feel I could have applied, both I am trying to put in front of you. So the third section is going to be how there's a lack of confidence in Arjuna, right? So he needs a boost up over there. And the other side is Duryodhana, who's unrighteous, and he's boasting of his strength. Okay, so there are 2 people, and one is very humble person who's actually embodiment of divinity, Arjuna, who has a doubt and he is seeking clarification. On the other hand, there is Duryodhana, who is overconfident, or he is boasting of confidence, but internally he knows that he is going to lose the battle is because he is on the wrong side. He is unrighteous. He is aware of that. So, but he is kind of trying to boost his confidence by, speaking very high of his army and himself, and he is counting all of them. So that's the second aspect of it. Third aspect of it. The fourth is the question, success at any cost, or ethics versus ambition. I need to get this, or no, let me leave all of these things, duty versus relationship, etc. So when Arjuna looks at the family and the teachers, they have come forward in the battlefield to fight with each other, and they are ready to kill each other. This question comes up in Arjuna's mind. So how to deal with that is the fourth thing that we generally come across. Arjuna is arguing about the righteousness, and then he's saying that if that decline, what are the impact in the social values in business, politics, and all the arena of life, um, the institutions collapse and the nation suffers, society suffers, families suffer. So has his own argument that if you do unrighteous thing, all of this will uh, not happen. So the question here is: do the things happen exactly as per your fear, or they take a different course? Things take their own course. They don't happen exactly as we feel or fear about them. That this will happen, then this will happen, and actually nothing happens in that way. So that wisdom has to come into people, that things take their own course, and that course is not understood by everyone, and that only a master can tell you exactly what is going to happen. True leadership lies in upholding the integrity with the soul, which actually can guide you whatever are the challenges. So the challenges will make you fear, get into doubt, etc., and put it into dilemma. So there are two kinds of leaders who fight this war. One is with wrongdoings, Duryodhana, led by ego and arrogance, where evil in the mind of such a leader is always afraid of the righteousness, has a biased view. Overconfidence is the cause of their downfall because it is based on lies and the greed. The second kind of leadership is the righteous leadership, that of Yudhishthira, which has acceptance of God's power. And they are fearless, have unbiased views. They always reflect insight. So self-insight is their true knowledge. And they always believe in overcoming the inner obstacles of the mind to solve any situation. So that aspect of it. Finally, the sixth aspect is when Arjuna says that he is not going to fight and he puts down his bow. The confusion has clouded his mind completely. So what is there is that there is some kind of a surrender asset. Although in the second part of this video, he will justify his confusion and he'll say that he is right, and he doesn't believe whatever Krishna is telling him to do is right. So the divine consciousness, which is Lord Krishna, can only guide, but so Arjuna doesn't understand that he is the one, he is the master. So how all these things unfold is what we'll cover in the lessons. Okay, to begin with, the first verse that I have selected is the verse number 1, where the blind king Dhritarashtra is actually spiritual ignorance actually. And the Sanjay and Dhritarashtra both are talking to each other. Sanjay is the restraint of mind and senses. The Sanyama, which is restraint of mind and senses. 5 senses of perception, 5 senses of action, 10 and 1 mind 11, which is called gochar in Hindi. That and Sanjay has controlled that, so that's the Sanyama. And he is talking to ignorant king Dhritarashtra. That's the Ajnana. And so what he is talking over there is the ignorance is asking the restrained mind what is happening into this body field. Body field is Kurukshetra. So one is that what is happening in Kurukshetra. Then in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Idam Shariram Kaunteya Kshetra Mitya Vidiyate. This body itself is Kurukshetra. And this becomes Dharmakshetra when the Sadguru takes the rein and he starts riding the chariot of your body and existence, is when becomes Dharmakshetra. So he's asking in the Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra, Samaveta Yuta. He knows that Lord Krishna has taken all now, the Pandavas side. Mamakaha Pandavas Chaiva Kim Kurvata Sanjaya. My kids and my children and Pandavas, what are they doing? He's asking Sanjaya. They have gathered together to fight. So he has a personal bias. So he is a king. What the lesson over here is that king should not have a personal bias. He should be guided by the dharma, which is righteousness. The corporate and social life demands this, the objective decision making rather than biased. and they should be free from the emotional blindness. The emotional blindness is what Dhritarashtra. So this battlefield, actually, what is this battlefield? This is acquired by our mind and body. Okay. So the engagement of senses with the nature, with the people, and all the complexities that we have created. We thought that that is very important for our life and survival, has been created by us. That battlefield did not exist actually, naturally when we were born. We created this battlefield. And the soul, Arjuna, then, having created all that, has got this dilemma. Now he is seeking the inner wisdom. Because he remembers somewhere that he was not born like this. Now the things have unfolded in this way that the dilemma and confusion have actually taken a toll now. So he wants that inner wisdom, not the physical side, right? He's looking forward to this inner wisdom. So this is the first verse. The second verse is the fear of the unrighteous. The Duryodhana is unrighteous. Now what are the fears that he has got? The second verse says, Drishtva tu Pandavanekam vyudham Duryodhanastada acharyam upsangamya raja vachanam abruit. Now he is the king on the field, because Dhritarashtra, this is blind, cannot come onto the battlefield. So the Yuvaraj comes in as the king. The Duryodhana, seeing the organized Pandavas, he has got some kind of fear. He goes to his master, the archery master, Dronacharya, and he is trying to secure that you with me or not. You're going to fight with he knows that he's unrighteous, and he also has a fear that these guys were Dronacharya and Bhishma, they were righteous people, but somehow they have some kind of, he has obligated them. They are on his side. Now he wants to ensure that you will continue to be on my side or not. This is what the question is. He has in mind. So he goes to his master, Guru Dronacharya first, and he actually checks with him. The practicality over here is that the unethical ways will always have this fear, despite the external strength that he has got. The dishonest leadership will eventually feel insecure and will go to the masters or teachers for some kind of assurance, not learning from them. So Arjuna goes to learn as to what to do, whereas Duryodhana goes to secure them, that you be on my side, because people in society respect you, you be my side, okay, even if I'm doing wrong. This is the difference, okay? So the dishonest leadership will always secure people on their side and will play all that kind of planet politics. And they obviously might have material strength, and they might have wealth to influence people and all, but they will still fear the righteous people. They might lose it, because eventually there is the fallout is not good. This is the insecurity in their mind. The spiritual perspective here is that the evil Duryodhana, which is called moha. Moha is the illusion, delusion, confusion, etc., etc., is always threatened by the power of the Satya, Sat Paramatma. He knows that in the side, the soul is observing everything and will actually take me to a very tough life, ahead. Because mostly these kind of things have collapsed in the past for everyone. So, but the overpowering nature has compelled Duryodhana to seek more and more and acquire more and more, so that he can live that temporary luxurious life, right? So the other spiritual perspective, if you're on the spiritual path, there will be inner resistance before the transformation, which is happening to Arjuna. So Arjuna and Duryodhana actually within us both exist. So the unrighteous side of us, which is Asuri, and the righteous side within us is that Devi, which is Pandavas, and unrighteous Asuri is the Kauravas. So within us there are two kind of intentions and thoughts. One is the Pandava, which is 5 brothers, Arjuna is Anurag, Dharma is Yudhishthira, the righteousness. Arjuna is Anurag, devotion, Shraddha, the discipline is Nakul, the Satsanga is being one with the truth, the desire to be one with the truth is Satsanga, which is Sahadeva, and the emotion is Bhima. So emotion is all powerful. It is the most powerful thing, but it's not applied correctly. It is the most dangerous thing also. So emotion actually lacks the intelligence. So you can read a lot of books about how to develop emotional intelligence. While being emotional, how you can be intelligent, right? It comes from the awareness mostly, not by applying intelligence as such. More and more awareness about your emotional pattern will develop the emotional intelligence in you. So, and then the other side, the unrighteous side is Dhritarashtra is the blind king, which is ignorance, and then Moha is Duryodhana. And similarly, there are different meanings of different characters in the Karna, Vikarna, Kripacharya. Bhishma is Brahma, illusion is Kanad. He is the strongest illusion. He is more illusionary than, not visionary, illusionary than Duryodhana. And he has taken all falsehoods to support whoever sits on that chair and all that. So nonsense. As actually, he is living in the biggest delusion and illusion and ignorance. So that is Brahmarupi Bhishma. Fear of unrighteous, which is there in the, which you can read from the second verse. That meaning is this, that the unrighteous actually tries to secure all powerful people and things on their side, even if they know that what they are doing is not right. The third section, I want to talk about the 7th and 8th verses actually. So just part of that is where the confidence and overconfidence, you will see how it is playing over here. Asmakam tu visishtaye tan niboda divyottama nayakamam sanyasya sangyartham tan bravimite. Duryodhana is listing the strength of his army. Who's what are their accomplishments, and trying to show that his overconfidence. Inside he is not, but he's trying to show his overconfidence. Say, will be able to win all of them. So the good aspect of here is that Arjuna is actually checking his strengths and weaknesses realistically. So he has a doubt, he is a delusion, and he is seeking guidance. Okay, whereas Duryodhana is actually is boasting and trying to appear overconfident, and he knows that the business and personal life will have a downfall, but he's still showing the overconfidence. Right? In the work area, falsehood does not become strong by mere appearance or show off. Only real capabilities can bring success in business and social life. Instead of seeking external support, one should focus on self-knowledge. Emotional attachment is an obstacle in decision making. So get rid of attachment and embrace the truth. The spiritual aspect of this is that the Duryodhana, which is ego, right? Ego and Mohana. So ego is stronger than the divine wisdom. This is what the ego, Duryodhana, feels. And on the other hand, the Arjuna, both are in us, okay, within us. Arjuna thinks that he's humble and he recognizes his weaknesses, and he also is sensing that the power of divinity, Krishna, sitting just next to him, and he hasn't said that you guide me, but he is treating him like his friend, and he initially talks about all this dilemma, and then he goes on to justify all this dilemma, that he is right, and somewhere saying that Krishna, you were actually wrong. So the next one is the tasya sanjanayan harsam kurvriddha pitama, the pitama. So that false confidence, okay. Bhishma had a lot of confidence, okay. So he goes to that false confidence, okay? Duryodhana, the oldest of the Kuru, Pitamaha, Bhishma, and he asks him to blow his conch, okay, Shankha, and motivate the whole army, right? But he knows well that, uh, he cannot sustain the unrighteousness. Who? Bhishma knows that whatever he does for Duryodhana, because he is devoted to a chair, um, this unrighteousness is not sustainable. The practicality of it is that whoever you secure to your side, temporary motivation cannot replace the real competence of Arjuna. The real competence of Arjuna is the humility. He is a seeker. He is seeking wisdom. He will find the path. Whereas the unrighteous will lose his direction and eventually fall. That's the meaning here. So, in corporate life, the false confidence leads to the failure for sure. The spiritual aspect of this is that relying on the external validation, which is Bhishma over here, right? Bhishma's support is futile. Whatever mighty conch he might blow and make a lot of noise, uh, un- unless you seek the inner truth, you will not get the right path, whatever your physical or external strength could be. This is the meaning over here, false confidence, Pitama. The fifth one is the divine call, where now Krishna blows his conch and Arjuna blows his conch. So, Panchajanyam Hrishikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya. So, Hrishikesh is Krishna. Panchajanyam is that the kind of conch. Okay. So, basically, this is a symbolic thing. Hrishikesh is one who resides in the breath, is Hrishikesha. Arjuna was called Gudakesha because he had capability not to sleep. So he has so much of control over his breath that he could actually live without sleeping for many days, is what was said. And Rishikesh is one who is completely established in the breath. Breath is where basically through breath what would you play? Flute, right? That is why he is called Muralidhara. Means the breath flows exactly how Krishna wanted. And in the breath, the Pancha Mahabhutas, they actually create this whole universe. So, and then Brahma, as per the direction of the breath, the divine Krishna, he would create everything. That's why he is Padmanabha. The center of his belly is where the Brahma actually has come out. Okay. So, Panchajanyam Hrishikesho, the Krishna actually is the one who upholds the breath in which the Panchamahabhutas appear. That kind of call he gives, that I am the one who has actually created the whole universe. Universe has not created me. I am the one who has created. And the Arjuna says Devadattam. He is full of divinity, divine virtues in him. So what he blows is about the divinity. Where there is arrogance, overconfidence, false confidence, etc. Duryodhana said, here is that the humility with which he is calling the divinity in him without worrying about the after effects and results of the battle. And there Krishna is establishing Arjuna into the existence and saying, everything is there in your breath, the whole nature, because through this is where he is going to explain to Arjuna what the existence is, what the life is, what the divinity is, and where should you actually go to break this illusion and delusion. So the practical aspect of this is that the leader will announce the presence in a different way. There is this kind of leader where is kind of boasting of wrong confidence, overconfidence. Here is that the righteous action is announcing things in a very humble and subtle way, with all the humility. The action speaks louder than the word. So leaders who actually mean something would not boast of so many. They would kind of, with humility, augment the capabilities of the people and remind them of what they can do rather than saying what I can do. There is no I, there is us in them. There is we can do rather than I can do it. I will make you do one kind of thing. Okay? The spiritual aspect of this is that to awaken the divine call, go inside, and that is where the journey of liberation begins. The next verse is the talks about the moment of decision, which is verse number 20. Okay. Now, when the moment of decision comes, Arjuna is not ready to fight, right? So what he does is he observes both the sides. Okay. Now, as soon as he looks at both the sides, this sloka is verses ath vyavasthitan drishtva dhartarashtan kapidvaja. So, seeing both the army completely organized to fight each other, both sides, when Dhritarashtra, I mean the sons of Dhritarashtra, 100 sons of Dhritarashtra gathered on this, along with the Bhishma, Drona, and all the big warriors, So they all came in different segments and different days. So here Arjuna observes both the sides, and he sees one good quality over is he is having a calm observation of with his subtle mind, without that worrying about the end. He is just observing and analyzing himself. Where is he and what is he doing? What has he come up over there to do? And then he say, I'm going to kill them. They are my family. They are my relative. They are my friend. I have known them. I have grown up with them. And I'm here to kill them. So, he is assessing the situation. In the corporate and social life, we also assess the situation. What am I here for? What am I compromising? My family time, my personal life, the interest that I am born with, my natural passion, versus I am doing something which has been conditioned by society, compelled by peer and family pressure that I am doing right now. Now, whether I should be doing, is this dilemma when you see the battlefield. So when you go into the battlefield, always this dilemma is there. Okay. So asking your soul for guidance, mentorship is very important. The soul is Lord Krishna. Krishna resides in each one of us. So the spiritual perspective is that life is a battlefield. Everyone's life is a battlefield. We are all subjected to this dilemma in the battlefield. And through right observance, we'll be able to differentiate and then know our strengths and weaknesses, know exactly what is disturbing us and creating confusion in the mind, and then we'll seek the right mentorship. We'll be able to find the right guide for you once you know what exactly is your problem and where you are confused. Is verse number 28, which actually is talking about Arjuna's inner conflict. Drishtvevam swajanam krishnam yustam samapastitam. So, after seeing this, his own family members, friends and all, he is overwhelmed and worried. And his emotional attachment to them in the past is actually clouding his judgment. The decision taken by all the Pandavas along with Krishna was to fight them. Now in the battlefield, when he sees them all together, the whole thinking pattern is changing because of the emotional bondage that he has with them. So now he is not looking at the larger and greater interest, but he is now going for his personal bias because there is a connection he had in the past with them. So the personal bias is playing a role over here. So in your social life and corporate life, there will be people who have been known to you in the past will come and influence you and will try to deter you away from the right action, the right duties, etc. And make sure you don't fall prey to this, okay, and do only the right thing. So you select people who are good, who've got skill, who've got talent, rather than selecting people who have known you in the past, okay. So while you need to keep the relationship with each one, but then don't create a personal bias. If the role doesn't fit, don't hire people just because you've known them. The spiritual perspective over here is that the spiritual seekers should actually detach themselves from the illusion and the relationship with the senses and sense objects in the nature, and then that will help you go to the inner self. The next verse is the 30th verse, which is talks about how Arjuna is getting paralyzed because of the fear. So this fear has basically made him tremble, and he is now getting fever. Gandivam sansrite hastva vakchaiva paridahyate. He's saying his Gandhi was his bow. I think he's telling it's now falling from my hand. I'm not able to control it. And my body has got some fever now. And he drops his bow, saying, I'm not able to fight. What happened is the fear and the doubt on the emotional bondages have become very so powerful that he is not ready to fight. It's like, it's better not to get into all these things and live a very cozy, comfortable life. If whatever it is, I will live on meager things, somehow survive, sustain life, but I don't want to get into all this battle of life. The spiritual aspect of this is that when you get into this kind of fear, you need to go to the inner self, the divinity in you, and surrender to Lord Krishna. That's the only way to overcome the fear. Which obviously during the course of this Bhagavad Gita 18 chapters, we'll see how all of these weaknesses actually come up. Krishna makes Arjuna understand how these weaknesses actually operate, and why you should be able to overcome them. Because unless he explains you the science of the whole existence, if you need to understand how existence operates, the elements of the existence, to be able to overcome all of these things, right? In the awareness, you can overcome everything, but you need to understand. Somebody has to guide you. Will you be able to understand on your own? Yeah, you'll be. But then, when you say you want to learn your own, you have to be conscious. You have to be conscious of your existence, your breath, etc. In the awareness, all of these arrangements of the master and all will be done by the divinity. Divinity will bring you someone who will be able to guide you from one level to the other. You might start with yourself, but then eventually you will see that because your purpose is great, you are right, yes, the divinity will surround you with such thing, which will become sattanga, which will become discipline, which will become Arjuna Anurav, which will become Dharma Yudhishthira, and which will become a strong emotion being. So these 5 P will come to you to actually fight this battle, right? From within, okay? And then you will be able to see the Sadguru in you, Lord Krishna. The next verse is 32 to 35, and I'm just taking half of one of the verse. Arjuna is questioning and saying finally, Na kangshe vijayam krishnam, na rajyam sukhanicha. I don't want victory and I don't want the kingdom and related happiness out of that kingdom. Yeah. I don't want the luxuries of that kingdom. Because he's saying that I have lost the purpose. If this is the purpose of the war and the material success, that I'm going to lose all my family, friends and relatives, then it is not worth it, is what he's saying. So the dharma that he was here for, the battlefield, to uphold the right virtues, righteousness, he's saying the purpose is not aligned, because my heart doesn't want to do that. And the success without meaning in any ways looks very hollow, right? So that meaning is not understood and grasped by Arjuna. So that dilemma is tossing him up completely. And he appears like a very, very weak person. Although he was such a strong person, endowed with so much of skill, but he's appearing like a very fickle-minded person. The spiritual perspective here is that for self-realization, true fulfillment, you have to go inside and then self-realize. The external achievements, etc., will not give you the purpose. The purpose will come from within. So far, Arjuna has been watching this whole thing outside. He's searching for the purpose outside. The true purpose actually germinates from within, and you will understand it is actually coded. But then when you start becoming more aware of the inner self, you'll be able to see exactly what the purpose is. Have come to the last verse of this part 1 of chapter 1, where Arjuna surrenders. And surrenders means he's kind of is given up. The surrender will complete after the first chapter is over, because he is now in the second part, he is going to be justifying all his doubts and dilemma, and showing all his wisdom to Lord Krishna, and even considering him as not a wise person. He is even telling him that you are also become like them. They are unrighteous, and you are also asking me to do unrighteous thing. So to that extent, Arjuna has gone. So evam uktva, the verse 47 is the last verse I have brought in over here. But actually, this is the last thing, like where he actually goes into the backside of the chariot and says that I don't want to really fight. We'll see how in the second part, how he goes on to justify all his doubts and dilemma, and all his understanding about the righteousness, the family, relatives, the delusion, etc. And with all his knowledge that he had gained from Guru Dronacharya, he is trying to justify all of them. Obviously, he would do that, and that is why somewhere Dronacharya must have contemplated the same thing to be standing with the Kauravas, right? So the pattern of thinking is almost similar, because he is the guru of both, right? So the nature and the gurus in the nature have a similar pattern. So if you have taken the coaching from the same institution, you will think alike. But then, luckily, some of us will have Krishna by their side, and even if we have come from the same institution, we will start thinking differently, because the light is falling on you, and then the righteousness will start blooming in you. So our final thoughts are that acknowledging doubts, dilemmas, and the necessity of the divine guidance is a first step to the self-realization. So this is what it means in decision making. So get rid of attachment and embrace the truth. In business and social life, the soul must listen to the divine call. Good deeds create true identity. Life is a battleground where we have to choose between truth and falsehood. Correct observation is necessary before action. Haste can be harmful. And in the leadership, the righteous decision making is important. Decision making should be actually for the righteous path. And overcoming fear and emotional attachment is very important for you to lead and succeed. And the true purpose is spiritual awakening and not material gain. So the purpose will be found inside, not outside. So the first chapter we have seen that the life's real battle are not external but actually internal. In the second part of this chapter, we'll talk about what Arjuna says to justify his illusion, delusion, and attachments, and eventually surrendering and seeking his guidance. So stay tuned to watch out as to how the story unfolds, how smartly Arjuna is trying to justify his understanding with Lord Krishna. See you in the second part of the video. Namaste.